Over 2,000 years after her death, Cleopatra remains one of the most iconic women in world history. But beyond the Hollywood glamour and seductive legends, what legacy did she truly leave behind? This video, we explore the lasting impact of Cleopatra on modern Egypt, from her influence on feminist movements to the way she is remembered in Egyptian nationalism. She was fluent in 9 languages and was said to have been able to hold a conversation with anyone on any subject. Her attempts to break free from Roman influence made her enemies in Rome, and when she refused to bend, they came for her. In 32 BC, Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, and the future Emperor Augustus, declared war on Egypt. Cleopatra and her lover Mark Antony fought back, but were defeated and forced to flee to Alexandria. Cleopatra is often seen as a symbol of the end of ancient Egypt, and there is some truth to this. There has been a growing movement in Egypt. The city of Alexandria is arguably the birthplace of modern Egypt. It is here where Cleopatra's legacy lives on in the hearts and minds of the people. Alexandria is home to many of Egypt's most important landmarks. She believed in the rights of women and minorities, and she worked to ensure that they were treated fairly. For example, she appointed women to positions of power, and she granted them the right to own property. Her relationships with Caesar and Antony make for compelling drama, and her ultimate demise is both sad and inspiring. Cleopatra's story has been told and retold countless times throughout history, and it shows no signs of slowing down anytime soon. She was one of the first people to really embrace the dramatic winged eyeliner, and she wore it with confidence. She was not afraid to experiment, and she always looked amazing. She knew how to make a statement, and she was not afraid to be bold. Cleopatra's style is still emulated today, and for good reason. She was a true original who was not afraid to express herself. Cleopatra's eyeliner was not just for looks, though. According to legend, there is a curse placed on anyone who dares to disturb the slumber of the pharaohs. This curse is said to bring bad luck and misfortune to those who awaken the pharaohs from their eternal rest. The curse is often depicted in movies and TV shows as a way to increase the drama and suspense of a story. For example, in the movie The Mummy, the protagonist accidentally awakens an ancient Egyptian mummy and unleashes a curse that brings death and destruction to all who know him. She also believed that it had magical powers that could protect her from evil spirits. Another key element of Cleopatra's style was her bold use of jewelry. She loved to wear chunky gold necklaces and bracelets. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more historical tales. Thanks for watching. And she was not afraid to mix and match different styles. Cleopatra's jewelry was not just a way to accessorize, though. It was also a symbol of her wealth and power. She also welcomed people of all religions and ethnicities into her court, and she celebrated the diversity of her kingdom. Cleopatra was truly a trailblazer who broke down barriers and paved the way for future generations of women, including the Bibliotheca Alexandrina. The idea of being cursed by an angry pharaoh is a scary one, and it's easy to see why so many people are fascinated by it. Whether you believe in the curse or not, it's clear that it has had a lasting impact on popular culture. Cleopatra's story has captured the imaginations of writers for centuries. She is a character in countless books, plays, and films, and her image has been used to sell everything from perfume to cigarettes, from her iconic black eyeliner to her bold jewelry choices. She was known for her glamorous appearance, and her sense of style was definitely ahead of its time. Cleopatra was not afraid to experiment with different looks, and she was always sure to make a statement. Whether she was going for a casual or formal look, she knew how to make heads turn. Cleopatra is perhaps best known for her supposed affair with the Roman leader Julius Caesar, which resulted in the birth of their son Caesarion. Their relationship was said to be passionate and intense, but it was doomed from the start. Caesar was assassinated in 44 BC, and Cleopatra was forced to flee to Alexandria with Caesarion in tow. She then entered into a relationship with another Roman leader, Mark Antony, with whom she had 2 children. However, this relationship also ended in tragedy, as Antony was defeated by Octavian, Caesar's adopted son, and the future Emperor Augustus. In the ensuing chaos, Cleopatra and Antony both took their own lives, which is dedicated to the memory of the great library of Alexandria that was destroyed in the ancient world. The library serves as a reminder of Egypt's ancient past and its contributions to human civilization. Another important landmark in Alexandria is the catacombs of Qalm el-Shoukufa, which are the largest and best-preserved Roman catacombs outside of Italy. The catacombs are a testament to the city's rich history and its importance during the Roman era. Visitors can explore a labyrinth of underground tunnels and chambers that were used for burial. These fascinating sites are just two of the many treasures that Alexandria has to offer visitors. The city is also home to a number of museums, theaters, and art galleries, as well as the beautiful Montaza Palace, which was built in the 19th century by Muhammad Ali, the founder of modern Egypt, to reclaim Cleopatra's legacy and to see her as a symbol of Egyptian pride and independence. This is in part a reaction to the way that Cleopatra has often been portrayed in Western media, which has tended to focus on her romantic entanglements with Roman leaders and her supposed exoticism. While these stories are no doubt entertaining, they do little to capture the true essence of Cleopatra. Instead, we should focus on Cleopatra's achievements as a ruler and her efforts to maintain the independence of her kingdom. Her death in 30 BC marked the end of pharaonic rule in Egypt, which had lasted for over 3,000 years. With her death, Egypt became a province of the Roman Empire. Cleopatra's story has inspired generations of feminists, and for good reason. She was a woman who defied the odds and achieved great things in a man's world. Despite the challenges she faced, she never gave up, and she ultimately succeeded in establishing her kingdom as a major player in the Mediterranean. Cleopatra is a role model for women everywhere, and her story continues to inspire those who fight for gender equality today. However, it is important to remember that Cleopatra was more than just a symbol of ancient Egypt. She was a real person who lived in a real place at a real time. And like all people, she was complex and multifaceted. She was not simply a figurehead who did nothing to actually rule over Egypt. On the contrary, she was an intelligent and savvy politician who was well liked by her people. In many ways, she was the perfect ruler for ancient Egypt. She was born and raised in the country, and she was deeply connected to its culture and history. She knew the Egyptian language and customs, and she was respected by the people she ruled over. There, Cleopatra famously killed herself rather than be paraded through Rome as a captive. This made her extremely popular among the general public and helped her to cultivate a cult-like following. She was also a shrewd politician who knew how to play the game of power. She formed alliances with the most powerful men in the Mediterranean, including Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, with whom she had 2 children. And even how her image continues to inspire fashion, art, and literature today. Join us as we unravel the real legacy of Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt. She was one of the first female leaders to rule over a major kingdom, and she did so at a time when women were largely seen as inferior to men. As such, she has become a symbol of female empowerment, and her story has inspired countless works of art, literature, and film. And examine how her story still echoes through the deserts and cities of the 21st century. The word Cleopatra means to glorify father. And from the time she took the throne at the age of 14, she made sure that would be exactly what happened. Cleopatra VII, the last active ruler of the Ptolemaic Kingdom of Egypt, was born in 69 BC and died in 30 BC. After the Egyptian royal family had ruled over the region for nearly 300 years. Her mother, Queen Cleopatra V. Tryphena, was the first to bear the name Cleopatra. The name stuck with the family, and Cleopatra VII would become one of the few Egyptian rulers to use a distinctly Egyptian name instead of the Greek moniker favored by her ancestors. She was also the first to learn the Egyptian language, a fact that endeared her to many Egyptians who saw her as a symbol of their cultural revival during the late Hellenistic period. When Cleopatra took the throne, Egypt was a wealthy but somewhat stagnant kingdom. Much of its trade was controlled by Rome, which had occupied the eastern Mediterranean since the 1st century BC. Cleopatra wanted to change this and spent much of her reign trying to free Egypt from Roman influence. At first, this seemed like an impossible task, but Cleopatra was undeterred. Through a combination of diplomacy and military force, she managed to regain control of Egypt's foreign policy and set about rebuilding her kingdom. Under her rule, Egypt became a major player in the Mediterranean once again. Cleopatra was known for her intelligence, wit, and charm. However, not everyone was a fan of Cleopatra. Despite her short life, Cleopatra left an indelible mark on the world. Now let's get into the main part of the video. How did Cleopatra shape modern Egypt? Number 1. The last pharaoh. In recent years, there no. 2. The birthplace of modern Egypt. No. 3. Feminist icon. She was also a progressive thinker who was ahead of her time. No. For a literary muse, the story of Cleopatra is undoubtedly a tragic one, but it is also a fascinating one. Number 5. A fashion icon. Cleopatra's style is still emulated today. One of Cleopatra's most iconic looks is her signature black eyeliner. Cleopatra's style was definitely unique and unforgettable. Number 6. The curse of the pharaohs. Whether or not the curse is real is unknown. However, it has certainly captured the imaginations of people around the world. So those are just a few ways that Cleopatra continues to impact modern Egypt. What are your thoughts? Let us know in the comments below.